Hello and welcome everyone, this is Yanniman bringing you another Fleet Ops audio commentary. Today I have the pleasure of bringing you a 3v3 on Firststrike, and starting off at the top team as the white Klingons, this is Clinstat. His teammate starting off in the middle position at the top, purple Dominion, is ButterBread. And over here, rounding out the top team as the Yellow Federation is Alternate End. Now, down here, the opponents for today, Halfala as the Green Federation. His middle teammate as the light green Borg is FunnyStuff. And last but not least, Arash 8472 as the blue Klingons. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're playing on Firststrike. It's a 6-player map. It's a 16K by 16K. It's fairly wide open in the middle with a little bit of this double Tritanium Moon expansion here that not a lot of people... So one of the things that folks will try to do is they'll take the middle as sort of a map positioning thing, though since these are not dilithium moons, they're not overly exciting as far as resources is concerned. Now we can see down here that Halfala is setting up and looking to go, well, quite frankly, I don't know what he's doing here. He's got his scout, he's scouting up here. He's mining off of a single storage dock here, and this is actually, because these moons are so close together, he can actually get away with this. Now the storage docks doesn't cost a whole lot, but you know, that's, I believe, around 250 to 300 dilithium. Slightly less tritanium, so saves a little bit on the resources. So that's a little bit of optimization, and it actually mines almost exactly the same as a double storage dock. Now you'll see that he's completely he is playing Mason. He has the Nova class, and he has completely skipped over doing any sabers. It's really too big of a map for that, and he's going to go into Starfleet Engineering. Now his teammate, the Borg here, are obviously the Optimize, and just really doing exactly the startup of the Borg. Nothing at all surprising here. The Tritanium mining first, dilithium mining second, set up your conduction matrix. Half a second behind on the setting this guy into the energy nodes level 1. So in the meantime here, we can see that a little bit of the Dominion were a little bit too loose with their scout, and it appears that FunnyStuff was Johnny on the spot with his detector here, managed to capture it, but then the yellow feds, that'd be Alternate End, was also kind of Johnny on the spot and managed to destroy it, so not really giving Funny too much of a scouting advantage, though small, not too big of a deal. Up here, last on the bottom team, you can see here that we have Burrell's going into Covorts for the Klingons here, Arash setting that up. Oddly enough, he is just now getting into his mining station. This will be a decent fleet here once he gets his Covorts going, and he's really not going to need it too many Burrells except for the Klingons here. And the Klingons going for a Covort and Kabej class fleet here, setting those up nice and neat. We'll see a fairly strong fleet out of these guys. We should be expecting, really actually should be expecting these to do quite well if they are not countered by something. Now in the meantime, the Dominion also is not a pure tech, and so this is a Breen, so perhaps we shall see. And I may be wrong on the Breen part. You can see that in the meantime that Butters has expanded probably the quickest expansion there on the middle. The Klingons down here putting up a heavy weapons platform that'll provide some defense. Those heavy weapons platforms are still nasty as far as getting raiding coming in, but once you get like 4 or 5 or 6 ships, they spread out the torpedoes, and generally it kind of reduces the effectiveness of it because it spreads its DPS out over the ships. So everyone in the meantime basically just doing a little bit of scouting. Everyone's figuring out who's got what, except now we have a pair of Borels moving up here. Arash looking perhaps to get a pair of kills off of something. That's really not a lot here. This one bug of Butters is basically scouting around. It'll be really interesting to see what these Borels do. We do see a phaser sentry going up. Butters giving himself a little bit of staying power there. Maybe these Borels are going to go way back up in here into this side pocket, or this corner pocket. But we can see in the meantime, the alternate end is prepared to turn this platform into very likely a phaser sentry. The 311 Federation platforms, the phaser sentry is still quite nice as it hits like a tank truck, but the ablative armor, which is a wonderfully stout passive, has been moved to the pulse platform. Anyways, so still waiting on the action at the moment. The Federation in the left-hand corner pocket. Halfala setting up his storage docks down here for his mining. And moving into Warpin via this Starfleet Command. He's got just a single Intrepid here. Really looking to move into... Oh, there's the Intrepids coming in. He apparently is, I would guess, dilithium locked at the moment. And we shall see if we can get some action anytime soon here. The early game does have a tendency to, especially on a large map like this, not a whole lot happens immediately, as it's sort of posturing and see who wants to expand first. We're going to see that the Dominion here are going to be able to produce quite a lot. They do have a double dilithium expansion going on here. Possibly be able to help supply his teammates with some added stuff. You can see alternate end up here has also gone into Starfleet Command and managed to pull that out. He literally has only this one Intrepid here on the board, whereas the Feds, man, the Feds, oh, and the Feds have called out their warp in here, and it looks like that is going to go rushing by. And are we going to see a little bit of expansion rating here? Maybe all the way up here in this left-hand corner. That's going to be a risky move, as a Cavort, a Quebec, and Borel are sitting pretty here. Yes, that's what's going on. That's 3 versus 3, and I believe this Warpin is going to have the upper hand here. The smart thing for Clinstat here to do would be to hang on, wait for reinforcements. There he is. He's got another Quebec class in here. And we are going to see some miners take some hits as this guy is trying to run out, get out of there. Now, the question is, where is Alternate's Warpin at? Now, these Klingons are going to be trying to go after the Excelsior. The Excelsior is quite a little bit of, is the weakest ship here. And these Warpins are looking to try to get out and away. They are going to manage to get a kill here. And so an Excelsior for a mining ship. Not necessarily the greatest trade here for Halfala, but nonetheless he did get some kills out here on it. The Federations here have managed to also do a warp in somewhere. Now I'm looking for that, and I don't see it. Oh, in the middle of the bottom of the Borg here, we have a sphere up and running. Oh, I'm sorry. This sphere is not complete yet. Oh, is it going to get off? No, they are not. 3 seconds remaining. Not enough firepower. These boys are going to need to turn around, and is this a refit? It is. Unfortunately, the Borg don't have a whole lot of shields. These refits not going to be the greatest for them, and the Klingons here are going to be able to manage to come in here. They bottom team going to get a kill here that is going to be quite nice. The Borg Arch sphere is chasing after this guy, and this does look like a perhaps just a straight prime sphere, as yes, I don't see any sort of torpedo modules there. The Federation up there, alternate in, going to lose his entire warping fleet, and that is going to set him back just a little bit, as he'll not be able to move into like large numbers of ships later game. Just one of the things to remember: do not lose ships. Ships are very expensive. I mean, in the sense that even though the Feds do have it sort of easy to a degree that they can replace ships quite easily, the rule of thumb here is that you don't want to lose your ships in a battle unless you think you can take it, because really what's going to end up happening is your opponent will eventually just they're going to continue accumulating ships, and if you start accumulating losses, the math doesn't add up. Some bombers moving up here onto Funny's detector. The detector actually getting out. It's torpedo dodge chance, quite nice. Oh, and the Klingons are going to come up in here onto, oh, this bomber fleet really out of position. This Klingon fleet here could very easily take it. Oh, but at the same time, Clinstat is not defenseless. Moving forward with his set of ships. However, decloaking and giving away his position, this is actually going to give the bottom team a lot of intel that they wouldn't have otherwise had. Oh, this is not necessarily a great thing. The Klingons, the blue Klingons decloaking on top of the Feds here. Oh, FunnyStuff going to find himself in just a world of trouble here. This is not going to be a thing that he wants to play around in. The Klingons, oh no, okay, at this point, run, sphere, run. You are dead. The Klingons could cloak out. This is not going to be good. Oh, and the bottom team is making a really huge tactical error here. They do not have the firepower to take on this stuff. Going to get some bomber kills out of it. The Clinstat and Butters are just, and even the occasional Federation ships, you can see that Butters microing his ships quite nicely. The bomber is going to be able to I believe they'll be able to chase this guy down. If nothing else, this is a dead sphere. And FunnyStuff has got to be cursing himself just a little bit here. Down goes this sphere. Look at all of those ships. Generally, I do recommend a 10-second sphere kill, but that was a good 20-second kill, and they managed to not lose very many ships. These Klingons and these Dominions are going to be able to managed to get a couple of extra pieces of experience off on them, and now the top team sitting a lot better now. Bottom team losing way too much, everyone losing a little bit, some Federation, so kind of really turning the tide back against the bottom team. Oh, but Funny does have another sphere in the on the field, and Halfala has his warp-in ready, so plus just a ton of Intrepids. The Intrepids here, the yellow Feds, are moving around, looking perhaps to put some pressure on stuff, but really the bottom team's got a couple of scouts over in this area. It looks perhaps just to check any incoming. This is alternate ends fleet right here, and a pair of Galaxies and an XL-1, not a bad pull, as Clinstat has managed to move up down into the bottom base. against a ton of Intrepids, well, you know, a ton equaling 5, these guys are not going to be able to take that fleet. It's not a good fleet. Not necessarily a good trade, even if they